Well, hey everybody, I'm John Redlin with the second part of my top 50 favorite matches of 2019 list. There's going to be a link up here, not the whole Navi. Hey, link, listen. No, there's going to be a link up there for the Countdown Videos playlist, and that's including part 1 of this list, as well as other end-of-year videos that I have done. And I'm going to have part 3 up a couple days later, probably, the 26th, 27th. And then I'm going to have movie-related countdowns, 2 for the best and worst of the decade, and then 2 for the best and worst of this year. And the best and worst of the decade are going to be horror movie related, just so you know. I do want to quickly mention, though, thank you guys so much for the support. Just thank you. You have almost doubled the amount of views that we got in comparison to last year. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. It's just a wrestling fan channel. That's all it is. I don't have insider sources. I don't claim to be a journalist, but just thank you guys. And I can't wait to see what 2020 brings. But I got 33 matches still to cover here, so part 3 is probably going to be, like the top 15, but we'll see how far I get on this. But we start with number 33, Tomohiro Ishii versus Jay White, G1 Climax 29, Night 4. Jay White was on the warpath. He wanted to go through the G1 field. He had lost his first G1 match to Hirooki Goto. I'm going to mention that match here a little bit later. But he was, after betraying Chaos and everything, even though he was a member of Chaos, it was obvious that Jay White was going to betray them, and he did. This was kind of Chaos getting their revenge and everything. Even though Okada had won the championship at G1 Supercard, Jay White was still being a thorn in Chaos's side. And was just, he was just somebody that they wanted to shut up, and they finally were able to get their revenge. And Ishii, despite all the interference and Jay White being a conniving heel, Ishii would not be denied. He ended up hitting the vertical drop brainbuster 1, 2, 3, but they built the fuck out of this match. I actually thought Ishii was going to lose, and was actually surprised that he didn't. But boy, they really did a goddamn good job with this match, and you're always going to get a quality 2 tremendous match from Tomohiro Ishii, even if it's a tag match or a 6-man. I love Ichi. I really hope he can keep wrestling, but good God, I sometimes worry with some of the bumps that he takes, but he had a great match here with Jay White. No complaints at all. Number 32, Hirooki Goto versus Jay White at Night 2 of the G1 Climax 29 tournament. This was great. This was as well as like being just something where it's like, oh, holy crap, we're gonna get these two guys clashing. You did have, I believe Jay White beat Hirooki Goto during, I want to say it was during like one of the April tours that they did. I don't remember. I think it was the Road to Dontaku tour. Forgive me if I don't exactly remember. I know that he beat him at some point, and it was like, okay, it was like, can Goto get his revenge for what happened? Same thing that Ishii did. I actually thought that Jay White was going to go up 1-0. When they gave Hirooki Goto the victory, I was very happy, because Goto is somebody I think that gets forgotten about as being a very, very quality, well-rounded performer. No, he will never be the heavyweight champion, which, is, given his ability in the ring, is unfortunate, but I don't think the business would necessarily spike up with Goto there. But Goto is very, very good. Got a great match here out of Jay White, who carried his share as well, did his job, and it was great stuff. And the crowd popped when Hirooki Goto managed to get the victory. So that was it was a great way to send the crowd home happy, or hype up the crowd and all. Holy crap, Jay White finally getting his ass beat after so long. Even after losing a championship, he still was that conniving dipshit. Or that conniving dick. Wasn't a dipshit, he was just a dick. So we then get to match number 31. Will Ospreay versus Rocky Romero, Best of Super Juniors, Night 4. Great stuff. It was 2 Chaos members, and just Rocky, even though Rocky being the older, the more veteran, trying to take down Ospreay. Showing that Rocky wanted to show that he could still hang with anybody that was, way younger than him. And not that Rocky's old. I think he's only like a year or 2 younger than I am. But he wanted to prove that, hey, just because I do part-time commentary, I manage, show and yo, that doesn't mean that I'm not still like a really great performer. And he was a great performer here. It's not the only time a Rocky Romero match is going to get mentioned on this list. And Will Ospreay, it's definitely not the only time he's going to get mentioned on the rest of this list. This was a great match. It was exactly everything that you could expect. Well wrestled, great high spots. Rocky wanting to work down, break down Will Ospreay as time went on, because even though Rocky can take to the air and do agility-based maneuvers, he was a little more experienced with the groundwork and stuff like that. Will Ospreay would not be denied, of course, but this was just a great match. How could you not love it? How could you not love a match like this? It was just so well done. The crowd loved it. And it wasn't the only time that Rocky got a huge cheer or a huge reaction from a New Japan crowd during this tournament. But that match comes up a little bit later. We then go to number 30. Yuka Sakazaki versus Riho versus Nyla Rose, AEW Fighter Fest. This match would have been ranked a lot higher had Nyla Rose won. However, this match was pretty good. It was two smaller women trying to take down a beast. And I'm not knocking Nyla. She's built as a beast. She's the native beast. So it's like you build this up of like having these two smaller people try to take down the big monster. And Nyla hitting some impressive maneuvers, doing some good power stuff, including hitting a leg drop where it was like right, it was off the ropes and everything. And I don't remember if it was to both women or just one of them. But good God, that was impressive. If Nyla doesn't at least go like 230 and not weight champion, if she doesn't at least go 230, like, and have that amount of agility, that is very impressive. She did a really great job here and showcasing some great skills, some great, power and everything. But unfortunately, she didn't win. She did not win. That was very disappointing to me. And I mean, maybe I'm downgrading the match a little bit because of that, but it's like Riho would eventually become the AEW Women's Champion, and hey, at least they're doing something with Nyla Rose now, and they're trying to maybe fix their booking with her. But I haven't seen Yuka Sakazaki as part of like the Genie Girls mini caller. I haven't seen her featured on here all that much, like since they started TV. Is there a reason for that? I would love to know. I think I like Yuka. But this was a good match. I didn't really see any complaints about this beyond Nyla not winning. Now we get to number 29. Kenny Omega versus Shima, AEW Fight for the Fallen. I met Shima at the 5 Northwest Wrestling Show. Nice guy, by the way. If you ever get a chance to meet him, really nice guy. And the fact that he's been wrestling for 22 years, something like that, and he can still move really well. Like, I mean, sure, I'm sure his body is beat up, but he's obviously in tremendous shape and can still move like just as well as anybody that's like 15 years younger than him. He is an incredible athlete, and this was a good match. Now, sure, did it go on a little bit long? Okay, but at least they made Shima seem like he was kind of Kenny Omega's equal, and there are some that complain about Kenny Omega's booking and stuff like that, and I may not be the biggest fan of Kenny Omega, but I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to drum up sympathy for him, like maybe he coasted in New Japan, or he felt after he left New Japan that he had the world in his hands and he didn't need to, he could just come in and be the best in the world, the best bout machine, all that, and he hasn't been. Maybe it's building up a story like that. Who the fuck knows? But this match with Shima was actually pretty good. I wasn't sure how this one was going to go, but it was a great mix of agility and some creative spots and everything. Really good. Maybe it went on a little bit too long. You could say that about a lot of AEW shows. But this match at least built and had some really good spots to it. The double knee finisher that, Shima hits is just absolutely amazing. I mean, obviously Omega won, but it was a really good match. I definitely enjoyed this one. And then we get to number 28, Rocky Romero versus ELP, Best of Super Juniors, Night 9. Here we go, Korakuen Hall going absolutely insane for Rocky Romero beating ELP. This was tremendous. This was fucking incredible. This was fucking great. I had no complaints about this. This was a great goddamn match, and something that, I actually sat down and watched this a few days ago after I was off. I think it was the day before I had watched Star Wars. It was just a few days ago. Well, episode 9, that is. And I still enjoyed it just as much as I did when I watched it and reviewed it, months ago. It was a great match. And Rocky finally getting the victory over ELP was absolutely great, because ELP had been just a fucking goddamn dick about everything and had just been this cheating, conniving heel that was so goddamn good. Though the thing that was frustrating about ELP is he didn't need to cheat to win, but because he's in Bullet Club and everything, and he's like, well, I'll need to cheat, I'll need to do this, even though his ability speaks for itself. Rocky Romero doing a great job here, though, getting the victory. Crowd was really electric, and that was actually pretty freaking mind-blowing. Like, Korakuen Hall, they made the noise of, I would say, at least 3,000 people. And I don't know how many people can fit in there, 1,500, 2,000. And good God, they made the noise of a crowd at least twice that size, if not 3 times that size. They went nuts. We then get to number 27, Dragon Lee versus Will Ospreay, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Dominion in Osaka. After Will Ospreay had dispatched Shingo Takagi just a few days before. That match will get mentioned a little bit later in this countdown. I wonder where. You probably can guess where. Will Ospreay set his sights on beating Dragon Lee. And it was the idea, okay, can Dragon Lee, show that he can hang with, New Japan's best? Because let's be honest, Will Ospreay is New Japan's best Super Junior right now. I mean, he is. If he's not, I would sure love to know what your pick is. And I'm normally not the biggest fan of Will Ospreay's style, but boy, it really has been the year of Will Ospreay. He's had a career goddamn year. Even with any injuries and any kind of stuff, he has had a career year. With this match though, it was a great mix. It was almost a bit of a come down from the match that Ospreay had with Shingo. It was a great match, do not get me wrong, but I don't think there was any doubt after he had beaten Shingo that Will Ospreay was going to beat Dragon Lee. Now Dragon Lee came close a couple times, but Will Ospreay would get the victory and, hold the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, and he would end up entering the G1 Climax tournament as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion because he was still, even though he's still a Junior Heavyweight, he did win the Never Openweight Championship, so he's moving up in the rankings, or moving up classes. I think after Hiromu beats him, because I'd be very surprised if Hiromu did not beat him at Wrestle Kingdom in just a couple weeks, or just about a week and a half. I'd be very, very surprised if Will does not move up full time. If he doesn't, I don't know. He might move up to best. He might wrestle in Best of Super Juniors, and they might say, okay, I didn't win it. You know what? I'm gonna just move up to heavyweight, and I'm gonna join the G1, and just be a heavyweight from now on. And he could pack on enough muscle where it could work. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I love this match though. I thought it was very, very well done. We get to number 26. Sanada versus Xavier Jr. G1 Climax 29 Night 1 taking place in Dallas. Crowd was not as enthused with the submission-based match, and I actually loved it. That's very hard to say, by the way. This was a very well-done match, though. I love Sanada and Xavier Jr. wrestling. It's better to me than Xavier Jr. and Takahashi wrestling, even though they have some good matches as well. But Sanada and Zach are about on the same age. I think Sanada's a couple years older than Zach. But this was just hell of a deal. It's exactly what you would expect with two guys that are pretty good on the ground. Those Xavier Jr. is obviously better, but they mix with some creative spots and everything, some good stuff. It really was a solid, well-done match, and something that I think a lot more people live there should have loved, at least in my opinion. Now, I loved it. I put it over in the review that myself and Durbinator did, and it's something I could go back and watch and be like, I really appreciated this. It was different than the other matches. It wasn't boring like the Kenta one. I feel so bad for saying that because Kenta is trying, but I just don't find any of his stuff interesting. Besides when Shibata came back and attacked him. God, I'm actually glad Shibata's not cleared, but boy, what a moment that was. Anyway, number 25, Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson for the IWGP US Championship from the Best of Super Juniors final show. Jon Moxley's New Japan debut. And it was great. I know that was a bit of a weird applause. It was fucking great. It was exactly what you would expect. I actually thought that there was a chance that Mox might win, or Mox might lose rather, and still enter the G1 and stuff like that. And Juice Robinson could have been the champion, but no, Juice had it long enough. He'd beaten Cody at Wrestle Kingdom 13, a match that wasn't all that good, though Cody did have a knee injury. But by this point, Juice did need to lose the title. Mox did have it for a few months, and then had to be stripped of it before King of Pro Wrestling because he couldn't make it to the show. But this was a great match, and it showed how much, oh God, Mox looked so goddamn freed here. I mean, it was his first match. He had a couple indie matches after he had left, but this is his first big time match shortly after his AEW debut when he showed up at Double or Nothing. And it was just great to see him with the shackles off and doing this kind of stuff. He did really well. Him and Juice had great chemistry. Some violent shit in this without being like something that was absolutely crazy. It was a well-wrestled match, and Jon Moxley gained the victory. And then soon after, he would be challenged by Shota Umino, and then would beat Shota Umino really quickly, and then take him as his new young lion, and he would become Shooter Umino. And it was good stuff. That was some really good stuff, Moxley and Shota. But this was a really good match. We then get to number 24, Okada versus Tomohiro Ishii, G1, it was New Japan Cup, Night 11. Chaos versus Chaos. I thought, oh crap, they're going to give Ishii the win. They're going to blow this whole tournament bracket away. They're going to have Ishii win. They came close. They came really, really close to having that happen. It didn't happen, but by God, it would have been really cool to see. Now, Ishii kept countering the Rainmaker, or just no-selling some of Okada's offense. Eventually, he would fall. But my God, Ishii looking like the goddamn star that he is, and a star that we know he can be. He will never win the heavyweight championship, which is unfortunate. But, I mean, based on ability alone, he should be champion. But this was really, really good. I really enjoyed this match. And it was always great to see Ichi featured in the top spot. And it was Okada. So it's an Okada match. How the fuck could I not love it? The only one Okada match I didn't love, and that was his match against Jericho at Dominion Osaka. Because holy fuck was Jericho gassed by then. Anyway, we go to number 23. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kenny Omega, IWGP Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 13. Could Kenny Omega turn back the ace? He kind of referenced him as the final boss and everything. Like he did a weird Undertale entrance thing, and it was Omega's last appearance in New Japan. The idea was actually supposed to be he was supposed to retain against Tanahashi here, and was actually supposed to beat Okada or it was actually supposed to lose it back to Okada at G1 Supercard, but New Japan wasn't sure he would resign. They should have just asked him, hey, can you just sign until G1 Supercard and then go do your own thing? And then they could have done that, and it would have been interesting. Now, I'm glad that Tanahashi got one more run. The match, in all honesty, this match could have been ranked lower because it was more for the moment of Tana winning the championship one more time. But it did feel a little flat, just a little. And maybe that was because even though Omega did well, do not get me wrong, Omega did well, his mind was elsewhere. He wanted to leave. He may have not wanted to leave New Japan, but he wanted to leave New Japan. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think he had done everything he needed to there. He could go to All Elite Wrestling. He has, and he's doing his thing. But this match for a main event, it should have main event. Of course, it should have been like, the feature. Only because, at least I think this thing main evented. It's for the main championship. Tanahashi and Omega, they did good. They did good. I mean, I can't say it was Omega's best match. His best match, in my opinion, was that 2 out of 3 falls match against Okada. But it was good. It was a good match for what it was, and nice to see Tana with the championship one more time, even though he'd only hold it for 5 weeks before dropping it to Jay White. We then get to number 22. Team NXT versus Team SmackDown versus Team Raw. The Women's Survivor Series match. I was a bit down on this initially. But after rewatching it, I actually came to really love it. It was nice to see Rhea Ripley get the rocket strapped to her, and seeing the other interactions with a whole bunch of other women. This definitely wasn't the best women's match of the weekend. Don't worry, I'll mention that one later. But this was a whole lot of fun. And sure, some of the eliminations came fast and furious. But at the same time, Team NXT standing tall at the end was really what sold this match as being like, wow, they actually really did this. I'm not going to talk about it way too much because I already reviewed this on the Survivor Series review, but just check it out if you really want to know even more full thoughts. But this was a lot of fun. We then get to number 21, Kota Ibushi versus Will Ospreay, G1 Climax 29, Night 5. Well, holy shit, these two guys going out there, two guys that hate their neck, especially Kota. Why does Kota Ibushi hate his goddamn neck? I don't fucking get it. I never will. Kota, why do you hate your neck? Like, Kota's going to watch this, but why does Kota hate his neck? These are questions that must be answered. This match was absolutely tremendous. It was fucking incredible. I mean, how could it not fucking be? It's Kota Ibushi, it's Will Ospreay, it's the G1, so everybody turns their energy up to 11. Oz goes up to 11. I'm sorry to all my British friends. I'm sorry. I will never do that again. I promise to do plenty of other bad accents, though. This was great. It was a great match between two guys that are able to go in the ring, and it was great. It's great stuff. How the fuck could I not enjoy it? We then get to number 20. Serpentine, a.k.a. Thunder Rosa under a mask, not Cobra Moon, but Serpentine, versus Tessa Blanchard for the WoW Women's Championship from Season 2. Great. Fucking great. Great. I mean, not just great for a TV match. They gave this a lot of time. They put a lot of hype into this. I know that the WoW Women's Wrestling product can be a bit hit and miss with some people. I enjoyed it. I wasn't able to review it after episode 1 of season 2 because I'm always busy because I got wrestling in every goddamn, corner of the earth, for God's sakes. Just, it's so much wrestling. I'm not complaining in the sense I love, watching wrestling and stuff like that, but just, my God, sometimes it's almost too much. With this match, though, Tessa, Serpentine, they did a great goddamn job. You could ask me at some point, find me on Twitter. I'll share the link with you. I may put it up shortly after I do this video, provided I put it up at a reasonable hour. But this video, or this match, was just absolutely great and reminds people, A, of how good Tessa Blanchard is, even though we already know that, and Thunder Rosa just being absolutely incredible in the ring. I really enjoyed this one. It's a great women's match, and that's why I'm putting it at number 20. Controversial? Hey, whatever. It's my list. I'm going to do it. So we get to number 19. We get Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Championship. Sasha went all out here doing, like using a belt, doing this kind of stuff, and beating the shit out of Ronda at some points. Ronda would win. Of course she would win. But Sasha did not look out of place, at all. This match reminds you of how good Sasha actually is in the ring. And then things got muddied a bit, with the whole tag team thing, and her needing a break for whatever reason. She took a break. But this match was really, really fucking good. I really did enjoy this. And yeah, I can say a lot of shit about Ronda, mainly the person. But in the ring, this match was very, very well done. And there are a lot of women's matches that are going to be mentioned as this list goes on. Probably not in the last few entrants before I end this video, but in the last couple, or in the top 15, especially the top 10. Oh, fuck yeah. So we get to number 18. We get to Pac versus Kenny Omega, AEW All Out. Pac managing to tap out Kenny Omega. Well, make him pass out and that kind of stuff with the brutalizer, which shocked me. This was a really, really good match. Pac, just the impact that he can hit his moves with, and just the fact that he can be such a great goddamn heel. I wasn't sure that WWE would ever let him be a heel. And I'm sure he was a heel before he came to WWE. But I can't say I'm that familiar with his work. I've seen little pieces here and there. But watching ever since he turned heel, and then ever since he's been able to be free and go back to the indies, and a Dragon Gate and that kind of stuff. And Dragon Gate puts on some good matches as well. It's just great to see Pac in his element, being the bastard. Say it like Bobby Lashley and try not laughing. But with this, I was almost certain that Kenny Omega was going to win. The fact that Pac won was the right call. Now, they haven't done a ton with Pac since. They've done a few things, but it's I don't think they're pushing him as the main challenger yet. I think if Moxley beats Chris Jericho at AEW Revolution, which is taking place on leap year in February, I think it's going to be pretty interesting if Pac maybe is the first challenger, which he probably should be, because they need to have that match. That match would be really fucking good. But this match was very, very well done. And to me, the best Kenny Omega match of the year. I know there are other people that are going to argue with that. I did not put Moxley versus Omega on this list. It was on my worst matches list. Right there, I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of shit. But it's my opinion. So anyway, we get to number 17. Pete Dunne versus Volta. UK Championship Takeover New York. My only complaint about this match, and I did watch it again, and my same complaint about another match for the UK Championship, they were a little bit too long. That being said, though, this match was pretty goddamn good. Pretty good. And actually really fucking incredible, because Walter, even though he's a goddamn monster and he just has those freaking frying pan hands, I've seen Walter live. Those chops, TV does not do justice for how great those chops are. He had to throw everything at Pete Dunne, who just would not quit. Now, Walter would eventually win, as he should have, because otherwise then you really would have just torpedoed Walter right there. And Pete Dunne had it for 685, 686 days. Walter now is going to have the championship for the love of God. At least let him have the championship for a year. He doesn't need to have it forever. But since he doesn't want to go to, he doesn't want to travel all that much, he just wants to do the UK brand. Well, I guess they really can't put him on Raw, can they? They can't really put him on NXT unless they're just going to feature him on TV and not on the house shows. But this Walter Dunne match was just great. It, again, maybe a little long, but it was a really, really good match. And then we get to number 16, and I think we're going to wrap it up right here, guys. Kofi versus Daniel Bryan, WWE Championship, WrestleMania 35. I, to the day of the event, did not think they were going to put the title on Kofi Kingston. I just didn't think they would. It wasn't I didn't think Kofi deserved it. That's quite the opposite. I just didn't think they were going to do it. I was like, nope, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to put it on him. It's just not going to happen. They fucking did it. Byron Saxton went absolutely mental in a good way, and everybody went crazy. The stadium open air stadium holding that noise. This was really fucking shocking with just what they did, and it was great to see Kofi Kingston getting it. People were like, "Oh, it should have been Mustafa Ali." They wouldn't have put the title on Ali. Sorry. But not taking away from the moment, Kofi Kingston winning the WWE Championship. I mean, holy shit, man. That's something I would not have expected in 2019. So that's actually where I'm going to end this list right here. So a few minutes shorter than part 1. And then I'm going to do part 2, or part 3 rather. And then you just go from there because I only got 15 matches left. So we'll see how long that one goes. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.